Now it's Sharon, and I'm back to share another policing experience with you guys. If you're new to the channel, I'm a retired detective. I worked for 20 years for a Southeastern city in the US, and I was also in the military. I'm sharing my perspectives along with my experiences in hopes of helping others in similar situations or just providing a different perspective. While I was policing, I saw a lot of stuff and went through a lot of things, and I'm here to answer questions that I get from different people that I encounter. And one of the things I was asked the other day, can police officers be woke? And I thought about it, and my answer is, depends on the officer. Because of all the things that we were seeing in the environment with the abuse and things like that, police overstepping their bounds and things like that. And no, police, we don't always get it right. I'm here to say that. We don't always get it right. And the posturing you see a lot of times, especially with Uvalde and how the officers, they want it to be wrong and strong. No, you can't do that. And so I just provide my perspective in hopes of just allowing you to see it a different way. And can officers be woke? Well, woke has been hijacked. You know, there's an anti-woke whole agenda. And woke to me means when our own kindness and empathy is not self-serving. I'm gonna say that again, woke. When our, meaning my own, kindness and empathy is not self-serving, meaning serving me, but it's serving others. That's what it means to be woke. Now, can officers do that? Depends on the officer. I had a hard time showing empathy and kindness because going through the training, it's always us versus them. You know, we got to get these bad guys and da-da-da. But I come from them. Not to say I'm a bad guy or was a criminal or anything like that. But when I take off the uniform, I talked about that. I turned into them. Some of my experiences with officers, not good. And just based on, I would say, my skin color. So when it's us versus them, I'm a part of us. And then I become them, depending on the officer. And I shared how I went through ostracism and retaliation for whistleblowing twice, actually. And what I went through and how it affected me emotionally, socially, mentally, physically. My hair fell out. And I remember checking myself again, you know, doing that self-inventory. And the Holy Spirit was like, you need to look at yourself, look at your own heart. And, you know, I was kind of taken aback, like, what? And when I started to examine my own heart, I didn't have empathy and I did not have kindness because everybody was everybody's going to jail. Grandma going to jail. She got to go. She going. That was my attitude. And that's only because I bought into that us versus them. Now, yes, there are people out there that are doing bad things. And when I encounter them, I do what I need to do, but not everybody needs to be treated that way. And what I find is working amongst other officers, we don't know how to change the lens that we look through. It's always punitive. You know, I'm the crime fighter with the big S on my chest, and everybody is a suspect until I deem them not. Okay, Sharon, so I'm a good judge of character? I don't know. Am I a judge? I'm not, and I'm not supposed to be, but we do it. So like I said, when I was being ostracized and retaliated against, I looked inward a lot of times, many days. And I realized being woke, you know, when people talk about being woke and being aware of what's going on socially and the racial injustice and things like that, that's one way of being woke. But it always goes from the person to the rest of the world. Being woke is to look at yourself and look at your own prejudices and your own bias, if you will. And then how do you fix that? So then when you show up to the world and show up in that uniform, I'm not just projecting my issue, my offense, like I shared with white men. I know where it comes from. I told you way back when a security guard officer, my brother and I, and stuff like that, and he pointed the gun and I could see the bullets. I was 11 years old, all of maybe 60 pounds. They used to call me skin and bone. and he had this gun in my face. And that left a stain, if you will. So in my mind, growing up, all white men were low-key racist and disrespectful. And of course, I don't think that way now, but it took a lot. It took a lot for me to go in, because remember I shared it on the video about KRS-One and his wife and what the acronym she used, blame, because looking at me ain't easy. Looking at me wasn't easy. You know, the Holy Spirit's like, no, look at yourself. For what? I didn't do anything wrong, you know? And then I'm an officer and I wear this badge proudly. Yeah. Being woke means you got to look at yourself. You got to look at your own prejudices and your own bias and then fix those. And then when you show up, you can show up as the best you in uniform, the best you out of uniform. And when you show up as a life giver. I always said the motto for the police should not be to protect and serve. It's old and it really has very little meaning. The motto should be, I'm responsible for your safety, not your demise. So when you show up, people are unafraid. You know, people are, they're full of life in a sense when you show up, because you give life and energy. You give that energy off. A lot of times when we don't check ourselves, when we don't admit our own bias or our own prejudice, we tend to project it onto other folks. But if you do that work, like Miss Ayanla used to say, do your work. When you show up to the world, if everybody could do that, oh my goodness, how much better would the world be? But a lot of times we don't want to work on ourselves. We want to work on other folks and tell them what to do. I am definitely guilty of that, okay? But I'm working on me. And as an officer, I tried to work on me as I went through and progressed through my career and how I showed up. Little things, how you speak to people. Words can be very violent and dangerous. You could kill a person with words. Not just physical action, but just words. So I tried to be mindful of that. I still try to be mindful. So when I show up, I'm speaking life-giving words. I'm uplifting, because the very words that I'm speaking, they're doing something. It's just, what are they doing? A lot of times we don't pay attention to that stuff. Your words have power. So I hope that helps. Take a look at our online store. The link is in the description. I created some word search puzzle books. The links for those are in the description. I created notebooks. The links for those are in the description. And always remember, guys, like, comment, subscribe. You could do those things too. But always remember, you don't necessarily have to go through a thing to learn from it. Talk to you later. Bye.